Well, I'm reluctant to give an answer. I mean, I don't want to sound like a cheerleader in this question. I can only tell you what I'll see. All right? I don't have a poll, and I don't want to sound like a cheerleader in this situation. I know in the event I have seen the man in action during the time we were there involved in this tectonic thing, that every place he went, he was totally surrounded by people. And these people were warm towards him. And I'm talking particularly in the poorer neighborhoods. I can assure you, and this I know for a fact, that if he went to some of the upper middle class places, they probably would throw rotten eggs at him. But in the poorer neighborhoods, every single place that I saw the gentleman, and I actually observed it, people totally surround him. And they scream, you know, the slogan that he has is not one step backward. And the moment the guy walks in, everybody just starts shouting, not one step backward. And it's totally spontaneous. I mean, it's not a question somebody's organizing it. So I will say that it depends on which class, economic class you're located in. The upper middle classes, what we call in Panama the rabiblancos, the proper translation I cannot say, so the whitetails, don't like it. But the humbler people, what we call the popular classes, lower working class. I don't remember a single labor union that is not backing the general at this time. All the labor unions are behind it. So, and those, as you can imagine, the majority of the population is the poorer classes, so I think that should answer your question. I will say, I mean, based on what I've observed, it's totally a question of perception. I will say that is the case, yes.
We are about to close, but we want to leave this in your mind. You may come up and speak with the speaker after we officially close, and there are a lot of materials here in front that he also brought to be distributed. I wish for you to recognize our mistress of ceremony, as she made our debutante tonight here with us. Please give her a round of applause. And before you go, we have some announcement that was made by Dr. Kelly. Please do not leave before you hear these announcements.
I'll make some brief announcements, and they will be brief because I can't talk, and I also have the responsibility of closing the program. The first announcement is that tomorrow night, may I have your attention, please? The first announcement is that tomorrow night there will be a program here, same time as tonight, called the 5 M's, which stands for Malcolm, Malcolm X, Martin, Martin Luther King, Mandela, Nelson, Winnie Mandela, Marcus, Marcus Garvey, and Medgar Evers, as part of our continuing efforts. Next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m., there's also a program on racism in media, which will be here. There should be announcements about all of our Black History Month activities outside, and you can pick it up. On March 4th, we will have Mardi Gras Carnival from 4 to 8 p.m. The price is $5, and then there will be a jazz concert a week following. On March 10th, we are planning a tribute to Gia Jimenez, who we mentioned earlier, which will be here, followed by another program on Panama on the 11th. I also have some other announcements. There's a forum on the Jamaican elections at York College called One People, One Caribbean, One Destiny, co-sponsored by the Coalition for Caribbean and Central American Unity and Black Student Caucus at York College. International Women's Day celebration on March 5th on 30 years of the Cuban Revolution through women's eyes at 647 Columbus Avenue, the GR Community Center in Manhattan. There's a fashion show by Tata Productions called African Nights here on April 1st. In terms of some final comments, I would like to point out to you that our speaker, who I was fortunate to have met through his writings before meeting him tonight, mentioned that The question in the Caribbean is the end of imperialism. Not whether or not communism or capitalism or socialism will replace imperialism, but that imperialism will end in the Caribbean. Our first program on Panama several years ago dealt with the whole question of that the issue is national sovereignty, and that in the international community of states, whether you are 2 million or 25 million or 250 million, you are equal. And you have a right to decide your own destiny. In that sense, the question of peace or drugs, or Oliver North, or George Bush, or a quail in the bush, is all a question of how we move forward at this point in time. In the end, in the international arena, U.S. foreign policy has a lot to do with that. So if you want to struggle for peace, if you want to talk about peace, we have to first recognize that everyone has the right to have whatever type of government they wish to have, whatever type of leadership they wish to have. You know, in any family, it's the family that determines who's the head of the house, not the neighbor. Thank you for coming.
You may come up and get whatever literature that they have available.